What's good, y'all? We are back again with another video. As y'all can see, I finally got myself a camera. This is actually kind of hard to get adjusted to because normally I'm used to looking at the computer screen and now I had to look directly in the camera, so that's kind of confusing. But I'm almost done with my setup. I got my light. I actually got a tripod for the camera too. I got a mic. Trying to make the background look better. I'm gonna repaint the walls because one, I wear a lot of red hoodies, and then red for me being 21 years old, red being my room, that's just kind of a childish color, so I want to change that. But we're almost done with my setup, man. I want to get a couple monitors so I can start doing some gaming and all that stuff. But shout out to y'all, man. Y'all have me completely motivated. I'm spending some good earned money on this stuff, and that's just because I think with y'all behind me, with me just putting my hard work in, I think one day this might actually be a job for me. So shout out to y'all. But for this video, we are here to talk about Jordan Poole and Tyler Herro getting their contracts, because I feel like from the reaction I'm seeing from a lot of people on Twitter and Instagram, I just don't think they're understanding what's happening as far as behind the scenes in the NBA. So let's just get straight into it. Tyler Herro, I believe last week, got 4 years, $130 million. So that's about 30 something a year. And when I seen that, I didn't think it was an overpay. The one thing that I was focused on was, okay, now he better not be coming off the bench, because paying $130 million for a person that comes off the bench, I don't like that. That don't make that much sense to me. And then when you're looking at the team, I understand y'all want to have that punch off the bench, but like, just stop starting Duncan Robinson, stop starting Max Strus. Like, start your best players, because that's gonna take y'all to the next level. Because what he brings is what y'all need. Y'all need a real life scorer. Now, him averaging 20 off the bench, like, he had one of the best 6 man of the year seasons we've seen probably of all time. Like, when you really look at the stats, he was the best player, but he was the best scorer on that team. Like, he had a really good season, and I think that season has gone really underrated. But he deserves to start, bro. Like, y'all need a scoring punch. Jimmy's just, that's his playoff. That's his shit. Bam, we don't know with Bam yet. Tyler has to start because he's just one of the most consistent scorers that they have. He is the best overall scorer that they have. So my whole thing is, when I seen that contract, I was like, one, he bet not come off the bench, because that just don't make sense. But as far as the contract, that is not an overpay. That's a really good contract. Same thing with Jordan Poole. He got $140 million now. He should come off the bench because he has two Hall of Famers in front of him that are still low-key in their prime. So I'm not mad at him coming off the bench. But looking at this, we have to realize he is still 22. Those guys in front of him are 34 and 35. They're going to be done in a couple years. They are paying him for the future. And the stuff that Jordan Poole has done at such a young age, they had to keep him. Like, when you look at it last season, first of all, I told y'all, I believe the date was September 22nd, 2021. I said Jordan Poole is the most underrated young talent in the league, and last year he's shown it. Like, when games with Steph Curry was not out, he was out. He averaged 24 points in the first round of the finals where he started. The first round of the playoffs where he started against the Denver Nuggets, he averaged 27 points. Was their best player. I wouldn't say by far. Steph was kind of good that series, but he was the most consistent player that whole series behind Jokic, and he averaged 27 points with also 6 assists. He's a really good young player, and they can't let that slip because you want to keep the old talent, because then again, it's about building for the future. Like, you guys already got your 4 championships. You can't get 5, you can't get 6 in these next coming years, but you got to lock that guy in. Like me, when I'm looking at Jordan Poole, same thing with Tyler Herro. Well, I'll talk about Tyler Herro separately, but when I'm looking at Jordan Poole, he has all-star talent right now. Like, if he was on his own team, not his own team specifically, but like, if he was on a team sort of like the Raptors, where he's the lead guard, he would be the best guard on that team. Yes, he's better than Fred VanVleet. He would be an all-star. He has all-star talent already in his 4th year. So you have to lock that in. And I think at his peak, he is an all-star talent, top 10 point guard at his peak. Not now, at his peak. He can be a top 10 point guard. Same thing with Tyler Herro. Right now he's already a top 10 shooting guard. And I think it's stuff that we just don't see in his game. Like, I could think he'd be a better scorer. I also think his passing, his playmaking is pretty underrated. And I think down the line, when he's a starter, he can be an all-star level talent. So I don't think both of those are overpaid. And this is why we have to pay attention to the salary cap. The salary cap is going up every single year. The tax is going up every single year. So y'all looking at 130 and 140, I'm like, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot like a couple years ago. That's standard contracts now. Like, I don't know if you guys remember in 2021 where it was a list of shooters that got big contracts, and at that time it seemed like overpays, but that's just how the stock and the salary cap was going up. Duncan Robinson got 4 years, $90 million. Norman Powell got 4 years, $90 million. Tim Hardaway Jr. got 4 years, $75 million off an injury. Evan Fournier, 4 years, $75. Davis Bertans, 5 years, $80 million. Now him, that might be a fucking overpay, cause he sucks. Like even after that, he turned into a bad shooter. But those guys are legit shooters, snipers, and a shooting league. Like, this is a shooting league, so you need guys like that. So them getting that big of a contract at that time, it might have seemed like an overpay, but we didn't realize the same thing with what a lot of people are not realizing now. The salary cap is going up. So that's why I'm looking at this 4 years, 130 for Tyler Herro, and the 4 years, 140 for Jordan Poole. And I'm like, yeah, that's not really overpay. That's not. That's just how standard contract is going to be for the years going on. Like Tyrese Maxey, when this contract comes up, he's going to get like 4 years, 170. That's just because that's the salary cap going up. And Tyrese, obviously, he's the better out of those three, so he's going to get way more. But that's just how the salary is going to be, man. We're going to see a lot of contracts. Like fucking Bradley Beal, this guy, $500 million. Like, it's going to happen. They're getting richer and richer. I don't think we should look at it as an overpay. So, just looking at those two contracts, I like it for both sides. I think Tyler Herro can have a huge season for this Miami Heat team. I think he can be that piece that they were missing if he starts. Like, I think they were kind of doing themselves a disservice, because when we looking at the Miami Heat, they just needed a scorer. But you had your scorer off the bench. Even though he still averages 20, I think it's more than him averaging 20 and Tyler Herro. I think Tyler Herro is a really good scorer. And I think if you put him in that starting lineup next to Jimmy, next to Bam, that can kind of hide him on defense, they can be a really good team that we're kind of underrating. I think that can unlock them. And the same thing with Jordan Poole. Like I said, we're not going to see the results now. I mean, of course, they can win another championship. What I mean is, we're not going to see the results of him. Like, I don't think we're going to see what he can do at his full strength now, because he's coming off the bench. But they paid him to be the starter. They paid him to be the guy that's after Steph. And when that comes, I think he can be a really good player in this league. I've always been a huge fan of Jordan Poole, man. Like I said, I made that video last year. I wanted to make it earlier in that year, because I felt like right after he came out the bubble, he was doggy. A lot of people say he played in the G League. The nigga played 3 games in the G League, averaged 30, and they took his ass out. So we can look at that shit like, yo, after I seen that, because I was watching Nico Mannion and Jaden Hardy and them guys in the G League. After I seen that, I was like, not Jaden Hardy, Jalen Green in the G League. After I seen that, I was like, yeah, this nigga's nice. I understand why they put him down there, because in the beginning of that season, he was having a bad year, so they put him in there, and then he just fucked them up. And then he came back, earned his minutes instantly, and then he made them make that play-in push. And they would have made it. They would have made it if Steph didn't have a bad game against the Grizzlies. I don't want to say he choked, because I respect Steph too much to say he choked. But that, yeah, I think we just gotta start realizing shit like that. Like, the salary cap, everything is going up, so shit like that's not really an overpay. Now, how does this affect Draymond? I don't know. I don't know. Like, this whole Draymond shit, I'm just tired of hearing about it. I think they can't do what they need to do without Draymond. But, like, you have to keep Poole. And I think they're allowed to pay 2 out of the 3 when the other 3 is obviously Wiggins. So, and I think you can find a guy like fucking Jonathan Kuminga down the line can be what Andrew Wiggins is. So, I think he can be the one to go, but I understand the chemistry issues. You might get rid of Draymond because you're just tired of him. But, like, I just don't think, as soon as you get rid of Draymond, y'all not winning. I'm going to be honest. Nah, I love Steph. I love Clay. I love Jordan Poole. Like I've been saying this whole fucking video. But Draymond is legit the heart. They will tell you themselves that they're not winning shit without Draymond. So, I don't think they should give him up. So, I don't know about his contract. Some people kind of said the Warriors was the one that leaked the video, which makes sense because now his value is low. So now you can probably get him to sign a lower contract, like $20 million, which he's still worth one of the best defenders in the league. So that might be what we see down the line. But other than that, man, I ain't gonna lie, this camera's fire. I'm about to record another video. Peace out.